everyone. My name is Val Marchevsky. I'm the Chief Technology Officer of Uber Freight. To be honest, this is the first time in my professional career I get to follow somebody with almost the same name as me. So Valentina, thank you for blazing the trail there. I'm very excited to share our learnings from building AI applications to try and supercharge the businesses for ourselves and our customers. As in typical AI application, the scale is really what drives performance, and the amount of data you can consume and train upon in order to provide the positive business outcomes. We're no strangers to scale. Being a member of Uber family, we have access to a pretty much infinite scale by today's standards. We currently look after over $20 billion of freight under management for over 6,000 customers, many of them being large Fortune 500 companies, and that comprises out of 1.8 billion transactions a year. And we do believe that AI is very well suited to improve the quality and efficiency of transportation industry today, just like it's changing a lot of other aspects of our daily lives outside of work. The interesting thing about AI is the absolute unprecedented velocity of innovation and adoption. These are a couple of examples of other society-changing technologies that we've seen come to fruition in our lifetime. Internet took quite a number of years to penetrate a lot of users. Mobile was faster. Look at the path of AI's adoption. It's in everybody's hands today. And the capabilities of AI, they also grow very, very fast. Going back to what previous speakers have said about core models from big tech catching up really, really fast, if you look at GPT-4, it's currently spec'd at 1.76 trillion parameters. By comparison, human brain is estimated to run on 86 billions. So we're kind of moving away from human comprehension already, and the models continuously evolve. Every couple of days, something new comes out with new and new capabilities. The cost is also going down. As the models evolve, the hardware evolves. Thinking back, only a couple of years ago, when ChatGPT came out with their first product, 1 billion inferences, and if you run at a large scale, it's not something outrageous, would cost you $10 million to run. Today, it's just a few $100s, and the latency and bandwidth that's required to run this is completely different. In the past, if I wanted to run 10 billion inferences, it would take me forever. Now I can do it almost instantaneously, and it's cheaper too. And obviously, these capabilities are very well suited to apply to AI. Obviously, we've started working on solutions in the machine learning era to digitize freight and optimize freight. And these are some of the examples of what we've built so far prior to AI really taking hold. Algorithmic carrier pricing, both surge and regular, matching truckers to the right loads, improved tracking, eliminating empty miles for environment, reducing fraud, all of that have existed, and we kind of got quite a foothold with machine learning, but AI is really a way to supercharge this. By our estimates today, applying this pre-existing technology along with AI for our customer universe already saved over $1.5 billion in transportation costs alone. So how does AI really come into play here? How does it really help? So the way we chose to go about it is we started building a comprehensive AI system built specifically for logistics. It's based on 20 years worth of data that we've accumulated serving many of the Fortune 500 companies. We have advanced logistics LLM, where we've trained it for industry jargon, terminology, connectivity, and processes. That's important, and it's really what differentiates stock models from what we need in this business. Based on this technology, we're able to build multiple AI applications to run individual use cases and analytics for us to truly run our businesses. If you kind of think about how AI applies in categories of AI applications, we break them in 3 different parts. There is Agentic AI that's there to help you, and think of it as transactional basis. You have daily tactical challenges, you have to reschedule a truck, you got a process of BOL, deal with a weird API connection and so forth, it runs autonomously and it helps you achieve the result on transactional basis. As the capabilities grew and we kind of jumped to the generative AI universe, now we can think about reasoning and applications where you have high responsibility and high ROI. Think of planning, think of optimization, and more of the strategic type of directions that you need to take. And of course, there is physical AI, and I think we should really mention autonomous trucks are here. We're working with a lot of these companies. They run a lot of freight, and I'm sure it's going to be transformative to our business when it takes more and more of a hold. So let's dive a little bit into agentic AI. Agents are helpers that run autonomously to deal with these technical challenges, whether it's request for a quote, truck location, dealing with detentions, and so on. We want them to run with minimal human interactions, which is what makes a lot of our businesses more successful. When we look at our agentic platform, we consider it to be a set of applications that service all our businesses and all our partners, and it runs on a modernized data platform. A couple of speakers before me talked about necessity for having clean data, so we'll get back to this a little bit. But data plane is essential, and also what is essential is ability to leverage the best in the core LLMs that are available on the market and do it in a safe environment. So in our case, we had to build a specific gateway to govern how the data goes in and out for the models that are not on-prem. Agents in our implementation, I think you've seen a lot of others as well, typically are invoked with external interactions. Natural language triggers that could arrive through multiple modalities that we currently employ in freight businesses, whether it's an email that's completely unstructured, a phone call, an API call, and so forth. And it is important in your agentic software to understand the request, build the right context, and match the necessary process and permissions to provide the right outcome. Because you do not want AI software to run outside of the boundaries of your controls. That is really important. These are some of the examples of the core agentic applications that we've built, and I think you probably have heard people talk about similar ones and the impacts they make. When you have agents running and looking after your visibility of freight and general insights, you can make technical decisions, continuously optimize your network. You can run your procurement events using AI and eliminate a lot of busy work that doesn't add a ton of value. Optimize your shipments, makes your freight differently, and really understand your under and overperforming segments of your transportation network. Schedule and tracking. Again, many challenges driven by an SOP, a lot of work that could be outsourced to a robot. And of course, financial space. I'm sure everybody who's either a shipper or a carrier deals with ARP challenges on a daily basis. They're not pleasant. Having robots help there is very important. Now let's jump a little bit into generative AI. Again, we're talking about a strategic context for our businesses and your businesses, of course. So the way we started approaching this is we analyze persona of a shipper. What type of questions do people generally ask running their job? How do you make decisions? How do we empower you to make the right decisions? So working with LLM providers and building this industry context that I mentioned before, we built a system that's capable of answering a lot of these questions. The data is there. It is not very well structured, but having the agents run underneath and feed the data empowers you to provide answers to questions such as where do I overspend on which lane, what's my cost per mile, what's my quality of service, and so forth. So if you're a transportation analyst or an executive on a shipper side or anywhere else you're responsible for spend, this is something you continuously ask your analyst teams, and you need to get this data to make decisions. Of course, having this data is great. Having it as real time is even better. But can we actually build a system where you no longer need to rely on wealth of experience and go through multiple layers of analytics before you can make the decision. So the next iteration of this application is an ability to show our partners predictive solutions and recommendations for their network. So imagine somebody logs into their portal, and first thing they see is a specific lane is underperforming. You need to run a mini-bid. Either the rates aren't right, you need more liquidity, or your freight mix is already off. And that empowers somebody with experience to make a quick snap decision, approve or fine-tune the recommendation and move forward without spending countless hours getting to that point. Last but not least, physical AI. We're really excited about it. We've been, obviously, those of you that know history of Uber Freight, we started building our own solutions many, many years ago. That's no longer there. Then we partnered early with current providers. We do currently have lanes, the one in purple, where Aurora runs without a safety driver. That's a Dallas to Houston route. And a lot of it is happening in the Texas Triangle and Corridor. A lot of other partners are ramping up their presence, and we're very excited to see this. Autonomous trucks, no limit on hours of operation, no fatigue, no accident related to fatigue. There is a lot of opportunities, and from our partners, we see that by end of 2027, they're looking to cover most of the southern United States. One last thing I want to mention before I wrap this up is data. I think previous speakers have mentioned this before. What really enabled us to achieve positive results here was start with decent data and then up-level it multiple times. You say in software engineering, garbage in, garbage out, and especially when you think about autonomous systems where agents run and try to make decisions for you, if they do it on bad data, they're really bad. In conclusion, if I think about what AI is going to look like and how it's going to change logistics, I believe the future of logistics is going to be intelligently orchestrated, perpetually evolving, and human expertise is going to be elevated by allowing people to be creative and worry a little bit less about building support and documentation and getting like really baseline data. I'll be around. Thank you for listening.